your applause, because here are your hosts, Stephanie and Holden.
Yeah, never mind. There we go. There we go. We are recording now. Okay, so yeah, that AI song that you hear or just heard, that took me like probably 100 tries to get down right. I would put a prompt in with the words and the lyrics, and it would just create a song. And then it, some of the songs that came out were like really, really jarbled and like had like the worst lyrics possible. And I was like, I cannot use this in the podcast at all. So
Kinda like AI was a little drunk.
although, I love AI and I think it's the coolest thing in the world. Like, and not everyone agrees. I know it's like they're gonna steal our jobs and like it's gonna replace people, but like I don't know. The pictures I've seen are like we're still a ways away. But like when I was a kid, I wrote like I was a big Backstreet Boys fan when I was a kid. I don't know why, but I was a huge Backstreet Boys fan. Weirdly had like their posters on the wall and like little trading cards.
Cards? I love that.
And I'm pretty sure my mom still has them in my house and back home. Like she keeps everything I ever had in my entire life. Nothing gets thrown away. And I'm
Well,
pretty
so
sure if I went home, they were there.
wow, I had my Pokemon cards until, like, 4 years ago, and I gave them to a bunch of my friends' little kids, and they still show me a bunch of the stuff that was in these containers, but everything from my childhood, I'm pretty sure is gone. My uncle lives at this house, like, I'm actually in my this back at the scene of the crime, I'm in my childhood bedroom,
Scene of the
and
crime.
yeah, everything is gone. He's constantly throwing away other people's stuff.
See, I mean, I love like I call it purging. I love purging, and usually I get on like a purging kick when I watch Hoarders. Usually after I go back home, visit my parents, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go watch Hoarders. I'm gonna go to my basement, my garage, and throw everything away. Like I don't need this stuff. But yeah, literally everything she keeps. Like my daughter has so much vintage 90s stuff, which is great. Like it's so cool. But like everything they kept, I'm like, what are you guys doing? You don't have space for this stuff. Come on.
Yeah, like, we had this, little playhouse, and we actually I bring it up kind of a lot. For my 25th birthday, my uncle threw it away. I went to a music festival, came back, it was gone, and 5 years later, I had kids, and I was like, "Hey, I had kids. Now where's the playhouse?" And he's like, "Come on." Like, 5 years later, and during COVID, I'd, like, send him pictures off the internet because people were posting this little playhouse everywhere being like, "Rent is now $2,000 for this." And I was like, "See, you could have got $2,000 a month for this."
It's true though, like rent has gone so high. Like on a side note, like when I moved out here 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we paid $850 a month for an apartment. It's like 800 square feet. That same place now is like $1,500 a month.
Yeah,
Just like 3 years after we moved out. I don't know. It's insane. It's insane.
and nothing has changed. Nothing has, increased in value to warrant double the price.
Like if anything, it's gone down in value. Like
Yeah,
like the washer and dryers are already old. I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna replace those. Like, don't worry about that at all. Mm,
it's ridiculous. I know that that's why I'm back at the scene of the crime because rent out there is insane.
yeah, no. But going back to AI for a second, like and kind of like tying up Backstreet Boys. So I wrote these like cringy as hell songs. They're super cringy, like, and they're themed like the Backstreet Boys love songs. Like one song, I'm writing about how my wife was in an accident, a car accident, and how I'm sitting in the corner like of the hospital room watching her, and like you're in a coma, you just woke up. But like I have these songs I wrote cringy as hell again, but I put them into AI and I got them created into an actual song. I'm like, this is pretty cool to hear my cringy thoughts from like my 10-year-old self is now in music.
So I'm interested though. Now I want to hear it.
Right? Yeah, I can read you one of the lyrics. I think next episode I will prep one of those songs and I'll have it on for
Oh,
everyone to
hey,
enjoy. This one
actually,
is
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
this one is called Gone. Um, alright, it goes, "The other day when you said you were going to leave, I thought you were kidding, but you weren't, 'cause you're gone. I should have paid attention, but you're still gone. How could I have messed up so much? I pray every day that you will come back, but you never do, 'cause you're gone. I messed up too much. I wish you were still here, but you're gone."
Well, now that's the one you have to play next episode. Gonna have to hear it. What is AI
Yes.
composition?
Right? What kind of sad song does it come up with for that? God.
Backstreet Boy-esque. That's definitely one of my go-to karaokes is Backstreet Boys. Like, you can work a room.
Yeah. That or NSYNC. I mean, there was weirdly, I liked both as a kid, but I felt like the NSYNC crowd was a little bit too much for me, so I was like, "I hate you guys, the rivalry."
Yeah, as Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, Brandy. It was all over the place. Love some Brandy.
Um, yeah, as a kid, I have, like, weird I don't know, looking back, I had, like, weird ideologies, like, I would view the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC as a big rivalry, which was a big rivalry, but, like, obviously not as much as I made it out to be. But then I would have, like, the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter crowds, and then they overlap, like, everyone enjoys both, but I was like, "I'm not gonna watch Harry Potter, that's for nerds and for losers, but Lord of the Rings is where" like, it's the same idea, like, it's no different.
Yeah, yeah, but I get it. I get it. Growing up in that time, especially my little sister liked Lord of the Rings, so I couldn't like Lord of the Rings. And then we weren't allowed to watch anything Harry Potter because that had to do with magic. So I remember they gave me the first Harry Potter book. My mom read one page of it and she's like, That's mine. You don't get that." Like, okay. So I was kind of the nerd that didn't get either side.
Man, not the witchcraft. The
Yeah.
witchcraft and the satanic.
Yeah. All the witchcraft. And like I wasn't even allowed to watch Power Rangers. Yeah, because too much fighting.
Oh, no.
Like water gun off the table. Yeah, we had some weird childhood. Kind of
Yeah.
redoing childhood now, having some fun.
Right? You have you get to do things with your kids the way you wanted them done when you were a kid. So you have 2 kids, right?
Yes, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
How is that world, uh,
Oh, the
going?
3-year-old, like I'm sure that you know, because how old's your daughter?
Uh, 15 months.
Okay, my daughter, she's a little over 3 now. She's absolutely feral. I think that COVID kids are just different. They're just built different. Both she tests every limit that I have, and I wanna grow up to be like her. And my 5-year-old, he's just the sweetest, like, really yeah, I it's a new challenge now that I know that he's remembering things, like, I'm building all these core memories at this point, so I'm like, "Okay, I have to do things the right way around him," but his sister is absolutely feral.
Yeah, the teenage years.
Yeah, like, she met somebody last week, and the first thing that she did was go like this, and she goes, "I don't like him. I want him to leave." She also did that to the, cash register lady, at Walmart a week ago and said, "Being 3 is really hard."
Oh.
We lost it. But, I mean, honestly, same. Being 35 is really hard.
Oh my god. If I could go back and just have my, like, I mean, not my childhood, but, like, a childhood again, I would do it, like, not have the responsibilities of, like, paying the bills, working, like, no, I would do it all over.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat. I remember thinking that I knew everything as a child and being like, "I hope that I don't forget it like all these idiots." I did. I forgot it all. Complete noob now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not there yet with my daughter, but she, again, 15 months old, she's crazy, she's super happy one day, and then she's like, a pill the next day. But, always cheerful, always sweet. She's in daycare, and she's gotten bit, like, 4 times, and I know it's, like, developmentally, it happens, but it's, like, the same kid, and I'm like, "Okay, like, I don't know what to do, like, what plan is there in place to, like, not have this happen? Because like, you can't just let someone bite someone, but, again, it's developmental, but, like, I'm glad it's not my daughter doing the biting, you know?
Yeah, I have no idea. I was so worried about my kids doing the biting for daycare. We went to like at-home daycares when we lived in Arizona, and then we went up to Washington and we were in a center, and I was so scared. I was so scared they were getting kicked out of this daycare. Somebody was going to bite somebody, and luckily we didn't get that. We did have other kids that would hit towards the end, so my kids would be like, "I really like that kid, but they hit sometimes. I'm not a big fan of that." I'm like, "Well, I'm glad that you're not the hitter, but,
Right,
yeah."
it's like the spectrum, like, I'd rather not deal with you hitting someone, but I also don't want you to get hit or bit, like,
Yeah, especially the biting, like, they're COVID kids, like, they should know better than that.
well, they're feral.
Yeah, they're absolutely feral. Uh, yeah. Are they, like, broken up by age group, or is she at a daycare that's kind of a wide range?
So we were at one place, and then they bought another unit, another flat building, so we transferred her to the new one 'cause our teacher, that she loves, moved with her. And so she's supposed to be in, like, I guess it's the ones group. It's a little bit older, but she gets put back with the babies because there's one baby that's with her that is same age, but, like, half her size and can't walk yet and is, can't meet all the milestones of the one-year-olds. And so my daughter is, like, an ambassador for her because she's, like, their best friends, and so they keep
Oh.
her back to, like, kinda get her to, like, transition a little smoother and, like, but yeah, it's just it's wild. But honestly, like, you mentioned in-home daycares, we toured, I wanna say, like, 10 places, and I would, like, look at the reviews online, like, the safety ratings, and so many places are so terrifying.
Yeah,
Like, at least in my state where the regulations are probably not as firm as, like, somewhere like California, but these people get away with a lot of stuff, like, one place, we loved the place, there was an actual, like, big I think it was like La Petite Academy. They great place, lovely teachers, great staff, but in the reviews online, they were caught, like, reprimanding one of the kids by tying them to a chair, and I
that's
was like,
terrifying.
"Are you kidding me? Like, how does that?" And then another place, like, we also loved, they got caught, like, having a drunk driver driving the kids around. I'm
Oh my
like, "What
god.
is going on?" Like, and they got in trouble for it, but, like, still, what the how does
Yeah.
that happen?
Down in Arizona, we didn't go to this daycare, but there was a daycare that some of the kids, just out playing on one of I think it was, like, Indian School Road, out playing on this really busy road intersection, and there's, like, 2 3-year-olds just out there, and nobody knew they were outside. It's absolutely terrifying. I know we got really lucky with one of them. She had 2 houses. She lived in a house down the street, and then she had a house that she just used for daycare. And so, like, you dropped off at the door, but then at the same time, you don't really know what's going on in there. Luckily,
Yeah.
she was like the best daycare provider I think we've ever had, like, still in contact with her. And then the next place they went to, absolutely feral. At like it was Baby Fight Club. The price is the price was right, and I absolutely adored the daycare provider and like the kids that were there. But yeah, it was Baby Fight Club, and we tried doing, like, a more structured one after that, but this lady was giving my son melatonin first thing in the morning, and he'd sleep, like, 5, 6 hours. I don't give my son melatonin, and she wouldn't admit to it, but she gave me, like, some gummies to take home of it and was like, "Here, try this." And I was like, "Yeah, I tried it myself, and it knocked me out as an adult." Like,
God.
yeah. But then she'd be like, "I don't know why he slept 5, 6 hours." And I was like, "This kid's on a really regimented schedule. He doesn't do that ever. Like, what's happening here?" And then you're
That
walking to a contract for a month.
oh, yeah, no, that and, like, even when you know what's going on, like, there are places and I'm on some weird side of TikTok where it's, like, apparently toddler grief of, like, lost toddlers. I'm like, "I need to get off this side." But,
Yeah.
like,
My God.
it's like the parents take their kids to in-home daycare with cameras, like, you can check in on your kid, and the baby still is, like, killed, like, they're put face down or, like, they're shaken, and I'm like, I literally don't trust anyone anymore, like, just hearing all the horror stories, No one.
Yeah, yeah. Our last daycare, they kind of reinstilled that confidence back in me. Where we just went to a birthday party for one of their kids. It was a good hour drive back to where we used to live, and we brought the kids out there. One of the kids whose birthday it was, his mom was my daughter's first teacher that she loved. And then there was a bunch of other teachers that came, a bunch of kids from their class. So it was kind of like a little reunion. But it was the first place that they had a regimented schedule, and they provided all the food, so my kids were actually trying other foods. I couldn't do that on my own. I needed help with that. And then, they took pictures throughout the day, and the only downside was, yeah, we moved, so we couldn't stay there, but they really brought that sense of confidence back, and now that I'm looking for someplace again, I've got none of it. It's friends and family, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really close friends and family. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's terrifying out there. I just I and they don't prepare you for that. Like when you become a parent, like you're not like you don't think about. I mean, you kind of do, but you really don't. At least I didn't think about it. Like you can't trust everyone. You can't. You have to like really do your research. And I thought like schools are great and like daycares are great and they're regulated. Nope, not the case. But so since you became a parent, like how do you think that's changed you from when you weren't a parent to basically now?
I had no expectations going into like, even when I was pregnant, I was like, "I'm not gonna think about birth. You know what? We're just gonna wing it." And it changed me in every way, like, being more cautious, being more scared of things. I wasn't scared of anything. Like, I knew people that worked in daycares, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, they're cool." Now I'm like, "Are they?" Like, they're fine in real life, but, like, the level of patience that you need to deal with other people's children, it feels like it's pretty far up there, and only certain people really have it. And I can't imagine myself even living in one of the or, like, working in one of those places, like, and I have my 2 children, and they're great, and I love them.
Yeah, no, I like well, we don't obviously tip the daycare, but like every Christmas we have decided we're gonna give them like the biggest gift. Birthdays, any kind of gift we can give them. Because like you guys, I don't know how to do it. I really don't know how anyone with more than one kid does it, but like when you have, 10 kids running around, you gotta control like the room. I not me. No. No, thank you.
Yeah, you have to make everything even with 2 kids. Everything has to be even. It does not matter what it is. Like, we got a pirate sword in our gift bag from this birthday party, and my son thought he didn't get a pirate sword, and man, I'm like, "Okay, are they at the dollar store? Where do I get a pirate sword?" Can't live my life like this.
No, to everything. No, nope. Yeah, that's and I definitely agree. Like I went into parenthood kind of winging it, but also like super like I think I set the bar way up here, like when it was probably more like down here. But like based on my childhood and things I went through, we can talk about it another day, but on another episode. But I was not a patient person. I had a very short temper. I would like get mad easily at things, and then obviously going through therapy for years, like getting a handle on my emotions, regulating all that stuff. I still like worried that I would get mad at a baby crying for hours and hours and hours. But like my daughter has really like made me a more patient person. Like I can have the worst day at work and just like seeing her smile and like laugh and like be silly, like instantly chills me out. Like I'm like, this is the best thing ever. So I'm definitely more patient. I definitely think I'm more understanding too. Like when I flew before parenthood and there's a baby on the plane, I would not sit near the baby. I would be worried it would cry the entire time and like I would hate it. But like now I'm like, I understand like the pain parents go through, single mothers especially, but like, anyone who's flying with a kid and
Oh,
the kid's
yeah.
crying nonstop.
That anxiety too, like, you're like, "I felt it, so I understand what they're going through right now." Even, like, grocery shopping, like, the anxiety of taking your children to the grocery store without touching everything and rolling all over the place and asking for everything, it's a lot, but I can be so much more understanding when I'm at the grocery store. People are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, you're okay. You're okay. Do you need a hand? I left
Right?
mine at home.
Yeah, we when I went out to visit my family on the East Coast about a week and a half ago, my daughter obviously on a 6-hour flight, she's gonna have a potty, a poop diaper, and I took her to change, and oh my god, I did never realize I've never actually used an airplane bathroom until that trip, and I've flown for like years, but never actually used an airplane bathroom, and did not realize how narrow and tight those are, and like putting a baby on that changing table and they're screaming, and, like, she has recently started doing the crocodile roll where she will roll mid diaper change, and, like, this is the worst thing ever, and, like, she's screaming, and then I get her finally changed and out of the bathroom, and this other dad's, like, holding his kid, waiting for me to get out, and he's like, "You're doing a good job." I'm like, "I'm doing the bare minimum, man." Like, I know that I'm doing like, to hear that, like, that another parent say, "Hey, it's okay, like, your daughter is screaming, and my daughter's gonna scream in 5 seconds, so I know how it feels."
Yeah, no, it's so nice to get that reassurance, like, "Okay, we're in this together." Like,
Right?
I'm sitting here judging you.
Yeah, like everywhere you go. I mean, especially I don't know if you had this or maybe you had this problem when your kids were younger, but like taking them to a friend's house who doesn't have a kid, or a parent's house who hasn't had a kid in 30 years, like navigating that world and like, you can't expect people to change their entire life for you, but also like my daughter shouldn't have access to a knife on the counter. Like it's gotta be a
Yeah.
balance here.
We talked about that this week, because my mom she put a giant knife on the counter, and my daughter picked it up off of it, and she's like, "Look, she held it by the handle." I'm like, "Oh, nope, no, not a good idea." But yeah, having them grow in Arizona is just access to pools. Like that was so scary to me because you can't keep your eye off one because you just never know, and it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, and like they always say, more people around you at a pool, the less safe it is because no one's watching the kids. Like you assume as a parent, not you or I, but like parents assume that other people are watching their kid, and they're not. They're in their own world, obviously, and like even their kids aren't being watched. Like you got to watch your own kid and other kids as well. But like, yeah, pools are so dangerous. I mean, do your kids know how to swim yet, or are they going through any kind of lessons? Or
Well, we're actually talking about putting them in lessons this week. So we're dangerously close, but not there yet. Even when we went to that birthday party, they had a splash pad, but the splash pad wasn't turned on, and it was right next to this little like lake. And so everybody was getting in the lake 'cause it was about like 100, and we're just not good with that kind of weather. So the kids were running around in the water, and I had mine like, okay, you have to stay close to me. I had life jackets in the car. But I wasn't gonna drag 2 kids all the way back to the car and go grab life jackets when I thought there was gonna be a splash pad. So, it's like, if I go back to the car, I'm leaving. So, yeah, I was like, "You have to stay close," and then when my daughter wasn't listening, like, she turned her listening ears off, I was like, "Okay, sorry, kid, gotta go. We're out of here." Like, yeah, we don't mess around with water safety.
nope. I know our daughter is in. She did like a swim school when she was 6 months old, 8 months old. Yeah, 6 months old, and then she is now in like the YMCA swim classes, so she's doing that as well. But and she loves the pool. Like she hates floating on her back, but she's like kind of knows how to do it. Not in the room. If you could help her with that, she knows how to do it, and she doesn't actively try to kill herself yet in the pool. So long as you're like keeping her within arm's distance with you. But I've seen like my niece and my nieces and my nephews. They went through like the Red Cross, and they just like toss them in the pool, and like the kids will float. Like my mind was blown. I think she was like 2 years old that my niece got tossed in the pool at my wife's grandparents' house, and she instantly floated on her back. And I was like, I was about to go like panic and grab you out of the pool and like you're prepared to do like CPR and like some kind of first aid on you. You're fine. That's crazy. Okay, so we don't have any sponsorships yet. However, we want to use these ad breaks to reach out to speak directly to the marketing teams at specific companies that we are interested in having inside of our podcast. Number one is King's Hawaiian. Your social media is an inspiration to Steph and I, and we would love to have you sponsor this podcast. So hit us up at betweenstatelinespodcast@gmail.com, and let's marry our two brands because we go together better than your rolls and the pork that I smoke on the back porch.
That is crazy. My kids have not quite figured out that you need to close both your mouth and your nose to have a 2-year-old just go and float. Like that's very impressive because for my kids they come out like can't breathe.
No, yeah, and I don't know, like kids love drinking the pool water. Like, that's like, I know it's a pump full of chlorine, but oh my god, that's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my kids in their bathwater too. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, gross. Gross. You can see the dirt floating in it. They're feral.
They're COVID kids. At least one of them is.
Yeah.
So how was your July 4th? How did that go with your kids? Like, what did you guys do?
We went over to my best friend's house and had a little barbecue and lit off fireworks. My feral daughter, she did her sparkler, and then my best friend's husband threw one of just a little pop pop kind of firework, and it made loud noises. And my daughter just took off running with her sparkler. She had no regard for where anyone was. I watched in slow motion as they went ooh, past people's faces. And at one point, she came straight for me, and somebody grabbed it out of her hand and was like, "Oh, thank God!" Because okay, no pop pop, no loud firework when the kids have the sparklers. Because every single time she ran for it, ran into my best friend's arms. She was sitting in a little chair. It was adorable. But yeah, I was really worried. Like I've seen people and the accidents that can come with fireworks. Not really excited about this, but it's the experience. Trying to be chill and let them have the experience.
Right, yeah, the core memory.
Yeah, I mean, I have that core memory for sure. It's locked in.
So we live on a hill pretty much overlooks the entire valley. So we get the pleasure of seeing basically every city within viewing distance their fireworks. So like, two towns over this way, like a town over this way, and then like, way down that way, we get to see all their fireworks go off at the same time, which is awesome, but also like annoying as hell because we also have neighbors behind us and in front of us who have this fireworks duel off and on for like probably like 2 in the morning. They're just going back and forth. Like they'll light theirs off and they'll light theirs off. And these aren't like, your cheap fireworks. They're like mortars. They're like the big industrial kind that the state allows them to own and fire off. And like it's 2 a.m. My daughter doesn't wake up, but she actually slept through the whole entire fireworks show. Like, and her window is right at the front of the house. So she got like the front row seat to this mortar bombing thing going on outside, and she didn't wake up at all. And I was like, my daughter, I mean, I'm a heavy sleeper, so I will sleep through anything as well. And she gets that from me. But literally, if you walk in her room and make the tiniest noise, she's awake. But somehow fireworks is blowing up outside. No, not at all.
Like white noise for
Yeah, I don't know how she did it, but she is a trooper. And our cats were pretty. I mean, one of them. So we say one doesn't really have a brain 'cause he's not that smart. He's got like nothing going on out there.
the orange.
No, he's a gray and white cat.
Oh, okay. Just had to ask. We have a couple of Nova.
But well, we have a fireplace, and he will go up in the fireplace and just walk, and then reach the end and not even realize it's the end and keep going, and just fall right off. I'm like, come on, dude! Like, what is going on out there? So he was not scared of the fireworks at all. Like he had really no reaction. We drugged the other two with like gabapentin or whatever that medicine is that kind of knocks them out because they both one is like 12 or 13 years old and she gets kind of freaked out by fireworks too. And then another one is like 8 years old and she gets like UTIs from fireworks. So like we drug her to hell.
I don't want to deal with that. Not a fun one to deal with kitty cats because man, that's an expensive vet bill. Yeah, I have an older cat that she actually didn't like my kids, so my sister ended up taking her in, but she had a lot of the UTIs. Not a big fan. But just allergy issues. My sister like really loves on animals and she's taken this cat to the dermatologist and like had it tested for her allergies, and I guess that's what her main issue was. I took her to the vet twice and the vet said she is an ornery old cat. And I was like, cool. So she just doesn't like my kid. Awesome.
Man. Yeah, our
Yeah.
cats, my daughter abuses the hell out of them, but like they are pretty patient with her. Like one scratched her, but to be honest, I mean, she pulled their tail. I'm like, that makes sense. But the other two just they don't really care. They're just like, we'll go up to her, like the one with no brain will get smacked in the face and he'll sit there and take it. I'm like, dude, you can go up on the bookshelf. Like you have the ability to go way higher than she can reach you, but you don't.
This isn't here, loves the love. Yeah, we have 2 orange cats and they both, I would say, no brain. One of them, she also was a feral kitten and my uncle took her in and she has all these issues, so she kind of walks like a zombie cat. Like she has like this like weird moves to her. And she freaks my cat out. I have a Siamese. She's sleeping back here, so she may come up eventually. But yeah, she freaks my cat out. And whenever she's approaching her, and I'm trying to think, are they gonna be best friends one day, or and this is kind of like a game for them, or is she freaked out because this cat moves weird? Because I'd probably be freaked out if somebody started walking at me like that. But they did
Right?
really well with fireworks. I feel like we upped the off YouTube, got box fan going, put the sound all the way up, had an AC going, and just like hold up everybody. So we also have 3 dogs. It's a full house over here.
Yeah, that sounds like a crazy. And so you mentioned it was hot there. How hot is it getting out there?
I mean, we bypassed 100 over this weekend, and so it's really not super hot, but this is very hot for us.
Oh man, yeah. Well, you're lucky you have. I mean, I know a lot of people who don't have AC out there. Like, I don't know how people do it. Like,
Yeah, I
we
didn't have yeah.
we're hitting 108 tomorrow. We hit 105 today, and it's just brutal. Like, I don't like. I mean, as you can tell, I have no hairs. Like, I burn so easily, and like just going outside for 5 minutes, I get burned. But like, in the AC in the house, like trying to keep up with the heat. But it's like I can't. I'm tired, boss. Like,
Yeah.
I can only do.
That I can hear my AZ like waiting on me earlier. So I was like, okay, let's put it up a little bit. Like it's definitely not going to get down to I think it's 68. I was like, okay, we'll try 70. Maybe we'll get close. It's just been too hot today, and I left my room door open at one point, and the whole upstairs is just it's a hot box up here. Like it. I have a cactus in my bathroom that's doing amazing. The rest of my plants are like, we're all sad.
Rookie mistake. Yeah, the heat out here, it's our plants are doing really well. Like we have peppers in the back. I'm sure you see my TikTok
Oh
videos,
yeah.
but we have peppers in the back. Like they are doing so well. One, it's a bell pepper, hasn't had any kind of like flowering yet, but the other one is like 3 or 4 peppers, which is pretty dope. And the tomatoes are loving it too. But God,
Planned on having our garden this year, and then we just had no passion for it. Me and my aunt normally do it. And this is my first year being back in this household. So we were just talking about what we're gonna do this whole last year, what we're gonna do in the spring. No. We have a bunch of strawberry plants that I was gifted from a neighbor just right before this really hot weekend, and they are all very sad. We'll see if any of them make it. Like, she gave me so many. And I have like 2 of my own that were already planted. They're doing just fine with the heat, but these new ones are like, what did you do to me?
why did you throw me into this mix?
Yeah, I even put them in portable containers so I can like move them around to keep them in the shade. It's just too hot. It does not look good.
No, it's awful. But what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, massacre out there.
It's and I don't have a green thumb at all, but somehow we've managed to keep these guys alive. Like this is the longest I've kept any plants alive my entire life. So I am thoroughly impressed with myself, and the fact that I'm actually producing fruit and producing vegetables, that's freaking insane to me. Like
Well,
I
yeah, and they
know,
look good.
right? I'm like, I know that one person commented saying, "Oh, you should cut your runners off." I'm like, if I want the runners to go into the ground. And apparently that's not how it works, but I'm like, but I could have a whole yard full of strawberries, like maybe.
Isn't that how it works? The runners go
I
in the
th-
ground.
I think so, but like, Yeah, I intentionally I moved it closer to the yard. I'm like, let's get you to grow into the yard.
Yeah, yeah. I used to place the runners like if you just poke it a little bit or use like a little I don't know. I think I would just use a stick that had the little T on it and just kind of anchor it down. And then sometimes they grow roots there and then it's another plant. I mean, it's all
That'd
an
be dope,
experiment. I don't know what I'm
right?
doing. Yeah. I have many plants, many house plants, and they're doing mostly okay. But it's all an experiment. If they die, they die.
Yeah. If they die, they die. Yeah, we have also in the backyard. The previous owners, I don't know if you've heard of the if you ever heard of the plant Virginia creeper.
It sounds familiar. I can't picture it though.
It's like a vine and it's really, really invasive. But the last owners here thought it'd be a great idea to plant it. And we have hacked it away so much over the last 3 years. It was gone last year, like totally dead, gone. You couldn't see a single speck of it. But now it's coming up in all the wrong places, like in the middle of the garden back there. And then we have, in the back corner the roses, and the other back corner. I'm like, what the actual fuck are you guys doing? This looks ugly as hell, and it's so awful. It's so hard to get rid of.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to look up what the Virginia creeper is. We had cherry trees out back, and so I was pretty excited to. My mom was saying there's an elderberry tree out there, and I was trying to figure out what's the elderberry tree. All these cherry trees look the same. I didn't realize the elderberry tree is flowering right now, so I was looking for berries. But underneath the cherry tree, there were little trees coming up, and I was like, "Oh my god, am I gonna get baby cherry trees from the cherry pits that I've fallen?" And I was IDing them, and there were a couple of cherry trees, and then there were a couple of poison oak, and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know how I feel about being in this part of the yard anymore. I'm gonna let my uncle deal with that, and how about not? But if you could save me at least one cherry tree, he does not care at all. He's the murderer of all plants. So yeah, he's not gonna save me any cherry trees, but at least he'll get rid of the poison oak.
That's a plus. Make him do the dirty work. Like,
Yeah,
not for you.
not for me. No, I would like to save the trees, but you know what? We'll try again next year.
There you go. Yeah, new year, new you. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on our inaugural podcast. And as a treat, I'm gonna do one of these AI songs for my 10-year-old love songs. I'm gonna put it at the end of the podcast. That'll be the outro. It'll be 30 seconds of a cringe ass song that you can listen to. So
All right, can't wait.
see you guys next week.
Yeah.
You had a car crash, I'm here for you. Please don't die. You're my wife, my only wife. I'm still here for you through pain, through anything. You woke up the other night, I saw your eyes, then you went back to sleep. To tuck you in that night. Still here. Will you ever wake up again? 'Cause I'm still here, still here. Still here, still here. Still here. You had a car crash, I'm here for you. Please don't die. You're my wife, my only wife. I'm still here for you through pain, through anything. Still here. You woke up the other night, I saw your eyes, then you went back to sleep. Still here to tuck you in at night. Oh, still here. Will you ever wake up again? 'Cause I'm still here, still here.